Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to all UTM citizens in Johor Bahru, Kuala Lumpur and Pago campus, as well as community and our public audience. How are you guys doing? I wish all of us always be in good health and prosperity. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is MAIZATUL NADWA. I will be the moderator for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, reading is essential and serves as a basic building block for learning. It strengthens our brain activity, and reading gets our mind working across different areas. Through reading, it could change the reader from good to great, from less knowledgeable to more knowledgeable to more wiser. And also stated in Holy Quran, read in the name of your Lord, verse 1, chapter 96, Surah Al-Alaq. Ladies and gentlemen, Read and Relaxation is a knowledge sharing program through book reviewing by the book reviewers. And this Read and Relaxation is hosted by UTM Library in collaboration with UTM Toastmasters Club. On behalf of the organizers, we would like to extend our warm welcome and gratitude, especially to both book reviewers and online participants to Read and Relaxation 20 series Thursday, 3rd November 2022. And this session we broadcast live through our official UTM Library Facebook page and UTM Library YouTube TV. Dear viewers and our online participants, you are also welcome to like, share, and comment this live video for the benefit of all with hashtag Malaysia Membaca, hashtag UTM Membaca, hashtag UTM Read, and hashtag Caring Through Reading. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's begin the session. Interestingly, today there will be two reviewers who will share their reading outcomes with their respective book of choice to all of us. Therefore, allow me to introduce both of our reviewers. Ladies and gentlemen, our first panel will be Dr. Julie Nguyen. She is a member of UTM Toastmaster Club and currently a researcher, Office of General Sciences, Phu Yen University, Vietnam, with a book title, A Wonderful Lady. Hi, Dr. Julie, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much, Nadwa. Yes.
Glad to see you. Welcome to UTM Relaxation. Okay, and our second panel is Miss Putri NURDIYANAH binti Mat RIZAL. She is also a member of UTM Toastmaster Club and a PhD candidate in Mathematic Science, Faculty of Science, UTM, with a book titled A World Without Islam. Hi, Miss Putri, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, Ms. Nadwa.
All right, thank you to both of you, Miss Putri and Dr. Julie, our book reviewers for today. Honestly, we can't wait to hear your sharing. All right, let's begin with the session. As an introduction, Dr. Julie, your book of your choice is A Wonderful Lady. So, as an introduction or as at the beginning of this session, maybe you can share with us how the material is owned. How do you get this book from? Maybe you can share with us. Over to you, Dr. Julie.
Thank you very much, Nadwa, for a very nice introduction about me. First of all, I would like to thank you, UTM Library and UTM Toastmaster Club, for giving me an opportunity to share a book. That is the book I read more than 10 years ago. But until now, I really also want to read again. And today I expect to share with you. You know, this book, my lecturer give me. He is lecturer, also my boss. He is the head officer in 1908. Then that is the days on the Vietnamese Teacher Day. And you can see here his signature in here to give me mến tặng Julie Nguyen. So, you know, when he give me, he said like this, I still remember. I hope that this book will help you become a confident woman and beautiful woman too. So that I also think that, wow, thank you very much, lecturer. And I just think I just read for become the confident and beautiful woman. But until now, I did again, and I also learned more than about many lessons about this. So today, I hope I share with you all. Yes, thank you, Najwa.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julie. That's fantastic. Amazing that you have read this book about 10 years ago. And then about the reading of 10 years ago, now you're going to share with us. So I can't wait to hear the sharing more from you, which is the book that you own is actually from your lecturer itself. So what a great heart I could say that your lecturer is during your Vietnamese Teachers Day. Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Julie, for telling us where this book came from, and about your 10 years reading already, and then today you're willing to share with us. All right, moving to Putri. Based on the book of your choice, Putri, your book title is A World Without Islam. It also full of questions there. How could be a world without Islam? And first of all, Han, I would like to know, and maybe you can share with us, with the audience out there, how you own this material and how you get this book from. All right, over to you, Miss Putri.
Thank you, Miss Nadwa, for such a great moderator and great brief introductions. So, how the material is owned? So, one of my friends resells all her collection of books during MCO, and so I thought I want to support her by bought one of her collection book, and at the same time I want to improve my reading skills. So when I stalked her Instagram for the whole day, and when I found the book, like, oh, the title, the book is full of curiosity. So a world without Islam. So yeah, I bought this book from my friends. Thank you, Miss Nadwa.
All right, thank you, Miss Putri Diana, for such a great introduction on how you own the materials. If I could recap what you said just now, you buy from your friends, right? During the MCO, the reselling book from your friend itself during the MCO, and purposely for you to improve the reading skill was, inspiring vibes. I could say that, Putri. Thank you for that. All right, thank you for that. All right. Moving on to Dr. Julie, back to Dr. Julie. Okay, we know already that Dr. Julie receiving a wonderful lady book from her lecturer 10 years ago. She already read this book, and maybe Dr. Julie, if you could recall the 10 years reading material that you already read in terms of its brief information. For example, the title itself, who is the author of this book, year of publication, number of pages or something like that. I mean, in I could say that the brief information of the material that you would like to share with the audience about a wonderful lady. Over to you, Dr. Julie.
Thank you very much, Najwa. You know the book with the title of The Wonderful Lady from the author, the name is Guy Descartes. He is a French, and he is the one best-selling French author of popular novel. He wrote more than 60 books. Then this is the second book he wrote in 1947 when he just 36 years old. And Guy Descartes were born in the Paris on 1911, and his father met his mom is a party in the London. So, and her mom is daughter of the president of Chile. So that's why he inspiring off from his mom a lot. That's why he write a lot of book related to the woman, and I can see he want to the woman to learn more about the knowledge and about the everything in his book to become a happy woman. That is, I can think. And this book, the page I think that 467 pages, but that is the translated book. I don't have the original book, but I hope that all of you can find this book in the modern language because this book translated many languages in the world. Thank you, Nader.
All right, thank you, Dr. Julie, for telling us the brief information about A Wonderful Lady. If I could recap that, you say the book was actually published in 1947. Oh my God, I think we all of we here are not yet born, yeah, to this world. So, but the book is already published. All right, so it's really amazing. And you said that, and this book also was translated in multiple languages, correct? So
Yeah.
if we could get one, then would be nice as well. All right, thank you, Dr. Julie, for such insightful information on the brief information about the material that you own, which is a wonderful lady. All right, now moving on to Putri, Miss Putri, A World Without Islam. The book that I reviewed, and I believe you have certain information about the reading that you write, especially on the book that you choose. If you could tell us, the title or year of publication, number of pages, who is actually the author of this book. All right. So maybe we can find out the book in the store, maybe. All right, over to you, Miss Putri.
All right, thank you, Miss Nadwa. So it is my great pleasure to share with all of you the material of this book that I'm going to review today. So for your information, the title of the book is A World Without Islam, written by Graham E. Fuller, who is a former senior political scientist and a current professor of history. So A World Without Islam is having about 385 pages, and it was published by Back Bear Books, publisher back then on 14 July 2011. And the language used for this book is in English. And so yeah, I recommend this book for those who want to understand today's current affairs, which are heavily linked to the rise of Islam. Back to you, Miss Nadwa.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss Putri, on the brief information about the book. It was published in 2011, right? So, is I could say that more than 10 years ago already. It's quite old anyway, but still, I think it's relevant to be read and to be shared to all of us, because I know the content itself is full with the insightful sharings, informative, and a misconception and so on. All right, thank you, Miss Putri, for such detailed brief information about the material you own. All right, moving on. All right, Dr. Julie, just now we know already how you own the material, the brief information of this material, your book, which is A Wonderful Lady. And now we would like to know the summary of reading material. If you could summarize, about the Wonderful Lady, what made you interested in this book? Actually, this A Wonderful Lady is telling us about what? It's all about what? Maybe you can tell us and to the audience. Over to you, Dr. Julie.
Thank you very much, Nadwa. This book have a two parts. The first part look like the traditional way to writing. He shared with us 7 ladies or 7 wonderful women. Then in the one chapter, he described one story related to one woman and with the very excellent characteristics. For example, in the chapter 1, that is the woman with the name Sylvia, with very beautiful and the youth. People cannot imagine how she beautiful and how she very young and attractive people. And his family, his parents sent her to marry with the very old and rich man, and just hope that she will happy. But she didn't happy. The chapter 2, that is the woman with the name Serena. Serena, that is very nice woman, and she always smiling and attractive people, especially men. If the man see her and also want to get in love with her, that is the person. But she also not happy in her life because she just focus in the many people love her, so that's why she very difficult to find the real love for her. And the chapter 3 with the woman Gloria, Gloria, she also think of she will become the famous person, and that is the way she will happy. So she tried to practice, and she also asked the look like the witch, the witch have a many magics to help her to overcome challenges and become the star in the movie. But in her life, he also not happiness in the end. And the chapter 4, that is the woman with the name Aisha. Aisha, very beautiful and selected to serve for the king. Then she also uh, she looked very happy, and the king always select her to talk and to share many things. Then she also see the jealous and competition in the king palace lah, and she also don't want to live in there, and she want to have the normal life and happy. The fifth chapter is the Grita. Grita is the person, look like just a home. She want to take care her home, take care of her husband and family, her children, and she feel happy like this. But one day, she also see all the life at home not enough for her. So that's it. The five women like this. Then have the one woman in the chapter 6. The writer wrote the woman with the name Leah. Leah have the 5 characteristics of the 5 women before, but she also not happiness. So that's it. The writer continue to write the chapter 7 with the woman with the name Yolanda. And Yolanda is a person. She unhappy with her life, and he gets married with the poor person just to find the real love. But she also cannot find the real love because that is she lied for herself, because he not the just like boyfriend for her. So that is the servant woman with 7 characteristics. Then also unhappy. So that is the servant boss. And the second, sorry, that is the first boss. And the second boss, the writer write a modern woman with the woman in the case, and she have a facing many problem in her life, and he fight with it by her education and justify. And he in the course he protect for herself, he protect for her children. Then he rescue her husband, and he win a lawyer. So that is the total of the book. I want to summarize like this. I hope that if have a time, I will tell with you some interesting detail. Thank you, Nadwa.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Julie, for giving us, the answer to the answers to the secret of who is a wonderful lady. If I could summarize, this book is actually telling about the uniqueness of the 7 women. All right, and with their own characteristic. That's what makes the author would like to bold in the book. All right, due to I could say that the extraordinary character that having by these 7 women, including Gloria, Aisha, Leah, Yolanda, that you mentioned just now. All right, thank you so much, Dr. Julie. Now we know who is that wonderful lady. All right, moving to Miss Putri. All right, Miss Putri, just now you are talking about a world without Islam. We know already you own material from your friends during the MCO, and this book was, was published in 2011. Then, in terms of your reading itself, if you could tell us in summary, what this book is actually telling you, or what made you interested in this book, if you can tell us. Over to you, Miss Putri.
Thank you, Miss Nadwa. So, all you can see that the title of the book already made me curious a lot of things. So, but when I opened the book, okay, the book is divided into 3 parts. Okay, the first is a historical overview of the Islamic world from its beginning in the 7th century to the present, including a description of different sections and movement of Islam and their influence in the world today. So the second part, and the most extensive, the section discusses the political role of Islam in the modern world, Islamic economics, social economics, and law. So each of 24 essays cover a Muslim country or a country with a significant Muslim populations. In that, communities in the Middle East, Asia, Africa, North Africa, and Europe are included. And then the final section describes the Islamic culture and civilizations, include the art, literature, architecture also, and the intersection with the West. So I could say that this book is full of history. So for those who like the historical book, I recommend that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Putri. Now we know a bit already about your book, World Without Islam. Also, as you said, it curious you and it curious me as well. Now I know a bit what is actually the content of the book. Begin with the historical overview, the influence of Islam to the world, and it also touches on the political world in a broader world, including in terms of its economic, finance, and so on, and as well as Islamic civilization, art, architecture. Okay, and as you can say, it's full of history. Meaning to say is maybe I could say that the history of Islam, right? How the author would like to enhance and so on. All right, thank you, Ms. Putri. We would like to hear more from you, but we're moving back to Dr. Julie. Okay, so all right, back to Dr. Julie. Okay, Dr. Julie. Next is you tell us just now there are 7 chapters altogether, right? So what are the chapters that become your favorites and have impact on yourself?
Thank you very much, Nadwa. As I told you, this book have a 2 parts. The first part look like the traditional woman, and the second part that is the modern woman. Then I think that for me, the second part really fascinated me, and I was really fascinated about studying and understood about the life. I think that the life is always complicated. Life is always changing up and down. Multi-layers, multi-level society, multi-people, multi-classifier. So when we live with the confidence and optimism in the present, we can have a happy life. That is the lesson I can learn from the part 2. Moreover, I think that some the traditional characteristics of the woman we need to learn and practice whole life. That is, we keep the beautiful and young, not in the appearance, in the soul, in the spirit. That is very important. That is also the highlight in the book. The writer remind us. Then, not only beautiful and young, we need to have the full of human love, experience to rise up and focus on the take care of the family and member, to good, nice, and sweet behavior with friends and people around. Then I also think that all the very nice characteristics like this, that is the writer give us, that is the moral lesson that for women on the world, we need to practice and improve, because if we have the good opportunity and competition like this, that is the very important to be the happiness in the life for a woman. But why we need to learn more lesson about the part 2, that is the modern woman, because nowadays we live in the global law, and we need to under law and under rights, woman rights. So there are many things the woman need to do to keep the life for happy, not in the family, but for the society and for global. So I think that even in 1947, but the writer also have a further skin and give information like this for all the women in the world. And lucky, my lecturer gives this book to me, and I took the opportunity and took the information in this, and I also apply for myself. That's why I keep continue studying. I keep to education for myself, and I try to self protect and to feel to apply the knowledge and skill I learned, not for me, for my students, for people around, and for everyone. Thank you, Nadwa.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nelly, for nice not introduction, for nice explanation about the chapter that you like the most and how it impacts you. So if I could say that you between traditional part and modern part, you love more modern part more than traditional part, and you say that modern part is more suited with the current life, and especially this book is actually leveraging woman, uplifting woman, rising the woman, and the author it says is the woman, and all the seven chapters is all about the woman. So mm, it is that could be the values about woman power that the authors like try to highlight, and as you say, full of human love, humanity, and this could be I could say that the moral values that try like the author try to portray in his in this book. All right, thank you, Dr. Julie, about that. Okay, all right, we move to Miss Putri. All right, Miss Putri. Okay, just now we know already about the historical book of a world without Islam. Okay, so all right, what are the chapters that become favorites, or that become favorites and have impact on yourself, despite of the historical and so on? Over to you, Miss Putri.
Thank you, Miss Nadwa. So actually, there is a lot of part that I said earlier. So from this book, I love chapter 5, which has the topic the situation of women in Islamic countries. So the status of women in Islam has been issued for over 200 years and is currently one of the world's most controversial subjects. So in this book, the author focused on the Middle East, which is the Arab world from North Africa to Iraq, as well as the Turkey and Iran. So author shares how these countries have different language and historical development towards women with Islam. So yeah, back to you, Miss Nadwa.
Oh, okay. All right. So meaning to say that, thank you, Miss Putri. Out of many chapters in a book, A World Without Islam, you choose chapter 5. That is the most favorite chapters because you said that it's highlighted in the book the status of women in Islamic country, right? You love that book the most, and especially focusing on the Middle Eastern country. All right, thank you, Miss Putri. Just now, Dr. Judy also loved this book because it's empowering women, and you also love this book because of the woman. All right, so we can see all the women there. All right, thank you, Miss Putri. All right, moving on to the next question, Dr. Julie. A wonderful lady. We would like to know as well if you can share with us the words of wisdom, moral values that have impact on yourself through your reading outcomes, based on the book that you read, which is A Wonderful Lady. If you can share with us the moral values or the word of wisdom. Over to you, Dr. Julie.
Thank you very much, Nadwa. Yes, as I told you, when we discuss about women, we also think a lot of the values, a lot of the moral, and a lot of things to discuss, right? Especially this in the book. I really love the way he writes. Very beautiful words. And in there, very logical and give us to inspiring. Because we thinking a lot when we read this. For example, you see, he writes like this. Money does not bring happiness. You know, when the first lady, Sylvia, have a lot of money, because she got married with the old man, but very rich. Yes, when she wear a lot of the jewelry, she owned a lot of money. She went to the pub, the bar every night, dancing, and she enjoy a lot. Yes, she also feeling us, not real happiness for her. Then if you can read the book and you see how she reads about the youth, she thinks that even if in the youth we don't have the real love and very difficult to find the happiness. So for her, money does not bring the happiness. Yeah, and I also love the some value like this. The woman who wear a lot of jewelry, they not compare with the beautiful young lady. Or women may fall when there no strength in men. So that's why that is the lesson behind can uh, can help us to understand how women need love, how women need care. But if the love and the care not reality, not emotion, and women also not get the real happiness. That another value I also love this. He write in the book here, a wise girl kiss, but they not love. They listen, but they not believe and live before he left. So you see how a wise woman like this, maybe she can kiss, but she no love. Yes, she can listen, but she not follow, she not believe. So that's why the writer highlight the intelligence of the woman. If you don't have a knowledge, if you're not independent to understand everything, then you not happiness. So the happiness in here, you need to confident. You hold your knowledge. You can do what you can control. That is the thing. I think that the writer wants to talk to the woman. Then in the book, the writer also highlight the love. Women always need love and care. But if not real, maybe facing the difficult struggle, women can fight. And when they fight, that's it have the reason. So, for example, I can share with you the some sentences like this. Love comes to those who still hope, even though they have been disappointed. To those who still believe, even though they have been betrayed. To those who still love, even though they have been hurt before. So even you hurt, even you betray, or even you facing many struggle, women also can love. That is the value. I think that the message very nice. The writer to give to us. Then in here, I also see a lot of things to teach for the woman how to get the happy. The summary in here, we need to work hard. We need to keep the beautiful, need to nice behavior, like I shared with you before. But in all the message lesson, follow whole the book and in the many way. So I hope that if you have the book this, you write careful, you read carefully, and you can enjoy and you can understand many meaning behind it. Thank you very much, Nadwa.
All right, thank you, Dr. Julie, for sharing with us the word of wisdom or the moral values behind this book. All right, I could say that the moral values that I can recap from what you're sharing is on the emotional support towards the woman, right? The care and the love that have to be given to the woman. So this is what actually the author itself try to bold in the book that care, emotional support, caring, love, woman intelligence is supposed to be, every woman should own it. I believe that. All right, Dr. Julie, before I move to Miss Putri, there is one question from our online participants who is from Mr. Muhammad Farid. Dr. Julie, who do you inspire most in life? All right, over to you, Dr. Julie.
Okay, thank you very much, Nadua, and thank you very much, Dr. Moss Faris. I think that in my life, inspired of many people, but in this book, I think that's seven women also inspiring of me because the writer in here very clever. He write one woman, just one characteristic. So we can learn from her about this. So when we read the chapter 2, and we also learn from something about the chapter 2. But for me, the most in here you ask me the most inspiring, right? So I think that the first woman that is beautiful and young that is inspiring of me. I love the beautiful and the young woman. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Julie, for answering the questions to Mr. Muhammad Farid. Okay, if I could, the answer from Dr. Julie is the seven women from the book itself is inspire her a lot, and she also inspired from the young lady, but we don't know who is that young lady. All right. Okay, never mind. I believe Mr. Muhammad Farid, Dr. Julie have answered your questions anyway. All right, moving on to Miss Putri. All right, Miss Putri. Okay, just now we know already your favorite part is about chapter 5, about the influence of women in the Middle Eastern country in the Islamic perspective, and we would like to know also, um, the moral values or the wisdoms based on your reading. All right, over to you, Miss Putri.
Thank you, Miss Nadwa. So as I said earlier, this book is more to historical books. So I will say that there's a lot of word of wisdom but I will choose two of them. So first, love. It is the reason there is something instead of nothing. It is from the soil that all of the existence blossom into being. So when we think of ourselves the way where we have been created and the wonders within the self, we are led to the amazing creator. Just as the study of nature and cosmology leads us to God, and as well dwell this on the science and try to understand ourselves, it ultimately leads us to God. Love, self-love. Self-love also include to the love, right? So self-love is looking after yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So it is an important duty because life is its responsibility from God. So ultimately, love in Islam is growing in the light of divine guidance. And the other words of wisdom that I believe, so words have power, which is Imam Ali says, speaks only when your words are more beautiful than silence. So after all, everything in existence sprouted from the vibrations of the divinely uttered word, be, and it is. So remember, our tongue is like a knife. It can either kill like the sword of a samurai or like the scalpel of a surgeon. So it is truly said that speak only when your words are more beautiful than your silence. It means that whenever you speak, your choice of word will be such that it should not hurt the sentiments of the listener. Also, your viewpoints should be understood by the person listening to you. That's all the word of wisdom. Thank you. Back to you, Miss Nadwa.
Okay, thank you, Miss Putri, for telling us on the word of wisdom or the moral values that you gain through your reading, A World Without Islam. All right, if I could tell the audience what you said on you highlighted on the love selfless or loving after yourself. But specifically in this book, A World Without Islam, yeah, the author highlighted is actually love in divine guidance, all right, in their perspective for Islam, all right. So as you mentioned just now, we should speak in the most beautiful way, before we voice out something rather than say it in a very harsh way. It's better don't. We better we keep silent, right? And then the choice of word and is very important. So this is, I could say that the values that the author tried to tell the readers, how important actually and how beautiful Islam is in terms of the word choosing itself, the word of choice in terms of communication, love, from creation to creator and so on, right? Okay, so thank you, Miss Putri, for word of wisdom and the moral values that you share based on the book that you reviewed, which is A World Without Islam. All right, now back to Dr. Julie. All right, Dr. Julie, are you there? Okay, my next questions would be how can this book impact and benefits to the audience? I mean, how do you think the book that you review will be benefits to the audience, not limited. Just like you review its benefit to you, but then how can does it will benefit the audience as well, and how can you say that? Okay, how it will impact and benefits to the audience. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Nados. I think that if audience have a chance to read this book, then that is very useful for everyone, not only for women, also for men. Because in here, I think that the writer try to write to design many story and have the logical connect together for the for the reader can understand the look like the stream story. Then when we join in there and we can see that life not is simple and life is complicated. So first the woman is very important and woman took the roles very important in the life. Then how woman become the happy, become the real happiness, not only appearance. And he highlight he highlighted in the spirit and soul. So that is, I think that's very important for the audience when they read the book. For the young woman, I think that they can learn a lot of characteristics in here, especially if the young girl in book he writing in he describes some the how to communicate with the people in the round in the Western culture. But in here, we also learn a lot of the thing how to how to polite, how to avoid impolite, how to refill, how to sell products. In there, a lot of the activity we can learn from the book. Then the second thing, I think that the characteristics in here very strong and clear message for us, especially the moral. If woman not good in the moral, not good in the faithful, not good in the belief, then they will not happiness. If they life, they take back the bad. So that is the that is I think that the woman need to learn about it. And the second, the third, I think that very value for the audience in this book is how we can communication between the man and woman. Because in here they have a seven women in the past one, also seven story between the man and woman. So in here, men also learn a lot how to understand the woman and how to well take care the woman. Then that is the in here many the real many interesting story and how we say the real conversation in here. Then we can learn how the people can have the succeed be basing on the night communication. That is the thing. And I also think last but not least that is the lesson for impact of the audience. That is the modern life, especially the power of the woman and women rights. That is the thing also we need to raising for the young woman need to learn about it, and men also need to learn about it for understand the woman and need to let the woman do what they can, and they can be success when the man supports and the family supports also and society supports. So I think that a lot of lesson, but and here I can summarize like this. But to you, Nado.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jalil. So many moral values we can learn from you from the book, which is a wonderful lady, full of messages, full of inspiring stories, especially on the woman itself, right? In terms of emotional support, spiritual soul, and as you mentioned, that the power of the woman, especially for the young generation, woman power, woman rights, and and then the woman itself should be in a good manner. I could say that should be in the terms of behavior. It should be highly moral. in order to lead the rest of happiness in life, in many parts of element in life, all right, in many parts of life elements, woman itself should be in a good character in terms of moral itself. All right, I agree with that. Thank you so much, Dr. Julie. Thank you so much for sharing the moral values that impact to all of us, I believe. Okay, back to Miss Putri. All right, Miss Putri, we are talking about world without Islam, right? We are halfway already about your book. All right, so maybe before maybe the next question could be the same question as Dr. Julie as well. How would be the impact or the benefits to the audience through this a world without Islam? All right, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Nadwa. So overall, this book, okay, as I said earlier, is full of history. So I will say that this book can help us or the audience as well form the basis of our Muslim identity and also can learn from the historical incidents. So actually, this book is not just about the historical. It's also include the kindness, the charity, the forgiveness, and also on the respective parents and also the moral of Islam. Okay, and also reading this book also can develop a wider perspective of the world because when you understand of our history, of our Islam history, it will help to understand why there are differences within Islam and the because and there's different lead to some form of conflict in the past. Mm. So, because a deep understanding of our history will help us to understand why there are differences within Islam and this difference lead to some conflict in the past. Yeah, back to you, Mr. Doh.
All right, thank you, Miss Putri, for the sharing on the moral values. I could say that in summary, your book telling us a world without Islam is actually help us to or lead us to better Muslim identity. All right, how do we practice Islam itself, right? And then second thing, maybe um, we can learn or take the lessons or the moral value from the historical incidents. There's so many historical incidents, I believe that. And that is why it is important for us to understand the history. And that is why it is very powerful for us to read the history and why the differences occurred, why the differences appear that there should be the history behind it. So what I can say that it's very important to read the history and to get to know the history, Islamic history. All right. Thank you, Miss Putri, for the moral values that you share with us on a world without Islam. All right. We are running out of time, just but we still have time anyway. Okay, maybe it could be one last question from both of you. Maybe back to Dr. Julie. Dr. Julie, are you there? All right, Dr. Julie, could be the criticism, I could say that the criticism of the reading material or the room of improvement that you would like to suggest or anything like arrangement, the use of idea, writing style. Okay, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nadus. I told you in the start, Guy Descartes, he is the best-selling author in the France. So how he can attract his reader? That is also I want to highlight in here with you on. I really love the way he compiled about the traditional way in writing and modern way in writing. And not only about the writing style, that is also the content and everything. So I mean that's the traditional and the modern everything just combined together. Then very interesting when we read the chapter one. We cannot stop in there and we just want to read in the chapter two. That is I think that the success of the writer. And the second thing I think that about the content. The content very multi information and also very strength for us, especially we are in the Eastern culture. When we read it in book here, they is described in the Western culture. So that is also attracts me. I think that the student or young writer can read this book to learn about the way the writer start in the story, how he describe in the body, then how he closing to connect with the next chapter. That is also very interesting. That is, I thought that structure book and the content very nice. I just want to share one example here. Uh, for example, in this book, they have a story related to a wish with the matrix to make the woman happy and all to make the an ideal woman have a lot of nine characteristics I shared with you before. Then you know, for example, the first lady, that is Sylvia. Sylvia have a very rich husband. Then she not happy, so she came to see the Swiss, and he asked her if she want to be the real happiness, mean that she will get married with a young man like her. Then you need to give to him 1 year of the youth, 26 years old. So that's why you see that he also share with us. Oh, the woman in the 26 years old until 30 years old, that is the most beautiful life for the woman. Then you know, and also many interesting in the information. For example, a writer usually write the book at 2 a.m. or people have the creative brain in the early morning. So that's why to remind the young woman or the woman need to get up early, and that is the time can help you to have the good productive in the day. So that is also many useful in the book here. So I think that the writer succeed in the writing styling, structure of the book and the content. That is the three things need to so thank you, the writer, to share with us. And I think that's we read in and we learn more about this. But for me, that is very useful and that is inspiring of me. Thank you, Nadwa. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Julie, for the feedback on, I could say that positive criticism is not that too much critics, right? It's more to acknowledgement to the authors, as mentioned that this book is a best-selling book, a best-selling author, and the content of the book itself is very wonderful and full of moral values and is really give impact to whomever reads about this book. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Julie. All right. Moving to Putri. Maybe Putri, from A World Without Islam, the criticism of the reading material, if you could add in terms of writing style, arrangement, the content itself, the use of ideas. Over to you, Ms. Putri.
Thank you, Ms. Nadwa. So, as you can see, the title of the book, A World Without Islam, may be a bit misleading, and some people who saw the title thought that, oh, is it bad to be an Islam? But the fact is, the content of this book is what if a world without Islam? Because the title is of the book can create curiosity. Like when purchasing the book, I intended to read what the author want to say about Islam. A world is without Islam. But the fact is, this is really what if the world is without Islam. Uh, the topic itself can maybe a bit misleading. But overall, this book is just about for those who love historical story. But I'm not recommending for those who doesn't not. Okay, thank you, Miss Nado.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Putri, about on the criticism, I could say that on the misleading of the title, A World Without Islam, and I believe maybe it's not about a world without Islam. The title says it's a world without Islam, but actually the content itself is all about Islam, the practices of Islam. Maybe why the author put like that to make a surprise or to intend many more readers to read the content itself rather than that's why we say that don't judge the book by its cover, right? We need to go through with the content. All right, thank you, Ms. Putri, and also Dr. Julie for a great sharing. Both of you, a wonderful lady and A World Without Islam by both of you. Very insightful, very engaging. Thank you so much. All right. Now we have arrived at the last of the agenda of this event. It is my great pleasure to see everyone here from many parts of the places together with us right now, watching through official UTM Library Facebook page as well as UTM Library YouTube TV. Therefore, on behalf of the host, again, we would like to thank you to our book reviewers, Ms. Putri Diana and Dr. Julie, for your great sharing, participation, willingness, and support to this impactful program. Thank you very much. All right, with that, it marks the end of my duty as moderator for this session. And last but not least, I wish everyone all the best and have successfully gained new information through this knowledge sharing platform delivered by both of our book reviewers today, who is Dr. Julie and Miss Putri. And see you again in future read and relax session, and have a pleasant day ahead. With that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.